Well, hello and good morning. I'm so excited to be presenting the Ultimate Music interview live. I'm Glory St. Germain, and I am thrilled to have my very special guest, Roy Tan, all the way from San Diego, joining me live today. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. I am thrilled. Today we're talking about how music theory helps you in your music career. And I know you have, obviously you're an international pianist, sensation, composer, arranger, performer. I just can't wait to hear your story because it certainly has been a great career, and you're continuing to just do new things and exciting things. I know you've got millions and millions of views on YouTube with your performances. So start us off with and thanks for getting up early, because I know it's like 8 o'clock in the morning for you and 10 o'clock in the morning for me. So if you're joining us, please say a hello to Roy Tan. Go ahead in the chat box and just say hi, Roy, and welcome, because we're really thrilled to have him today. So Roy, why don't you start us off with how did you start? Because on our call today, we have got, there's Carol Lewis and Joy Harper. We've got a lot of people joining us today. So maybe, how did you get started? We've got some piano teachers too. And so I'm sure it's interesting, isn't it? As a piano teacher, how do you think Roy's piano teacher feels right now? Like, so proud, right? So tell us how you got started, Roy.
By the way, I apologize for the sound outside. I think there is some kind of construction across the street. So if you do hear any of the drilling, it's that's what it is.
That's okay.
So I just started when I was about 4. Well, actually a little earlier than that, about 3.5, 4 years old. I used to live with my grandma, and she had my uncle had an old piano there, and I just started noodling with it, and
Right.
And I guess my parents decided, hey, let's just put him in piano lessons, to just kind of keep him out of trouble. And so I did. I started when I was 4. I took some formal lessons. I started with a group lessons, and this was in Singapore, which is where I grew up for the first about 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I did the system there, the ABRSM system, and then when I moved to Canada, I moved to Vancouver with my folks, and then I got into the RCM system.
Mm-hmm.
And completed that. I finished my ARCT with all the theory and the performance diploma. I think I was in high school, so I was like 16 or so when I finished that. And then I got into UBC Music and did my undergrad there. And then after that, I guess where do I go from here? Let's see. I started doing some other things, and I actually started touring with the Canadian Tenors. Actually, a friend of mine who kind of got me into that, and I started playing as a piano accompanist with that. And then later I've moved on and played with a number of different vocal groups and vocalists, and really enjoyed the stage. I like collaborating with other people, and of course, that's sort of where I met Rosemary, which just sort of brings us to where we are today. And we started that duo in 2012.
Wow.
With Rosemary, and then we had, I guess we've had quite a bit of success with the YouTube recently, especially with a video of Hallelujah, sort of really kind of taking us.
Right. I love the video that you did, that Hallelujah. I mean, your performance is just unbelievable, Roy. I think the last time I checked, it was like 18 million views on that. It was just, hugely successful. And in your travels, like around the world, what's your favorite place that you've ever performed?
Oh, my favorite place. There's been a number of them, really, really exciting ones, but I think it still has to be, it's got to be Carnegie Hall. As a performer, I mean, as a classical musician, I'm a classical bass. I've always done classical, and I've learned to play by ear. Actually, I play by ear, and so I've always done it side by side. So I've always learned to kind of improv on my own and create my own arrangements, even when I was a kid, taking piano lessons, and so that's but still as a classical musician, I think Carnegie Hall is still sort of one of the one of the kind of it's like a dream place to play, and it is wonderful. I mean, the hall is just phenomenal, and just the history, just walking through the halls, surrounding the theater, just the pictures of like all your heroes when you're learning.
Right?
It's amazing. So
I think that. And who doesn't want to say I have performed in Carnegie Hall? You know, I mean, I aspire to just go to Carnegie Hall and watch a performance. Imagine performing there must just be amazing to know how many people have been on that stage, and you've shared the stage with all of those people. And I'm sure that you know, when you performed there, perhaps some of the people that have performed on that stage were maybe even some of your musical influences. I mean, who did you follow? Who inspired you? Who did you want to become? You know, like what was your sort of influence in your musical journey?
Okay, that's a great question. I actually have quite a few. It depends on sort of the discipline. And I enjoy all different types of music. From, you know, I'm actually a big R&B kind of fan for since I grew up listening to that in high school. And but in terms of music, piano wise, I've always loved Horowitz playing. Horowitz, just the way he. That's just his melodies, just the way he sings those melodies. Where I think I read an interview with him where he listens for he tries to recreate almost how an opera singer would sing the melodies, and he does it on piano. But yeah, his sense of drama, his sense of that romantic style. So Horowitz was one of the big, and of course he was one of the pictures that I saw playing at Carnegie Hall. So that was really exciting.
Yes.
As far as piano-wise composers, Rachmaninoff was a big one for me. Of course, Ravel as well. Those are probably my favorite composers to play. And then, of course, on the more pop side of things, I love. I mean, with the R&B stuff, you know, I grew up listening to Brian McKnight, Boyz II Men, and those guys. So that's really cool on the complete flip side of things. And of course, actually, I got to meet one of my biggest musical heroes, which is David Foster, our fellow Canadian, which I got to meet him a couple of years ago, and that was a really awesome experience as well.
Wow, it is so cool that you get to do that. We have a little comment here for you from Tan, and it says, "We are proud of you." Oh. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. One of the things that I think is oh, there. Yes. I just want to make sure that I had that up there, and now I don't know how to get it off, but okay. We could just leave the "I'm proud of you" up there for forever.
It's on. I see it on the side. So
I know. That's the thing about being on live. You just kind of have to figure. Oh, there we go. I got it fixed up. You know, I've seen you perform too when you were performing here in Winnipeg, and I was absolutely amazed because my husband, Ray St. Germain, who is a singer, entertainer, obviously, and I remember you and Rosemary were performing, and you said, "Oh, Ray, you know, would you like to sing a song?" And he said, "Sure." And this is what really just totally amazed me is the three of you went into a room for about 10 minutes. You learned a song that you'd never heard before. And so did Rosemary, because Ray said, "Oh, I want to sing this little jazz tune." And you're like, "Okay." And came back in the room, which was a room full of people, and boom, you just played it. So, you know, how do you develop that style of playing or develop your ear so that you can just improvise? Like what are the steps? Like if you're speaking to our group of you know, musicians, and they aspire to like how did that happen for you? I mean, it's not just magic. I mean, you obviously are gifted, but there's still that element of you know, practicing and developing that craft. So how did that evolve for you?
That's a good question. I actually sometimes I almost believe. I feel like sometimes it is almost magic, so I don't actually understand how it works. Yeah. But I think it's kind of I've both Rosemary and I we actually both naturally play by ear, and I think this is just from listening a lot, and so we actually memorize a lot of stuff very quickly by ear, more than I do by sight reading music. So, but in terms of like learning new songs, this is where actually the theory does come in, because it's all this harmony, right? And I kind of learn the harmonies. If you can kind of learn the melody line quickly, and I think people learn melody lines relatively quickly.
Yes.
And then like when I hear a melody line, I always hear a harmonic structure behind it as well. So I hear where the harmonies are, and like the basic ones are obviously like you just start with like tonic, dominant, and subdominant, and basically the chords 1, 5, 6, 4, 2. Those are very easy to hear. Well, I say that, but I suppose it does take practice, and like everything else, it does take practice. And I believe it's something you can actually work on, and just I guess analyze something and try to figure out. This is sort of where all that keyboard harmony stuff came in handy when I did that way back in the day.
Yeah, I think you're so right. And it's probably why I'm so passionate about teaching music theory, and actually, if we have teachers out there that are sort of thinking, well, how can I help my students go from where they are now to becoming the Roy Tan performing in Carnegie Hall? We actually, and Sheena can share it with our viewers here, is that we actually developed the Ultimate Music Theory Certification course for teachers so that they could learn all of these things in how we can help our young students. Because I think the reason you're so successful, Roy, is because you had the foundation. You learned that when you were little. When you were in Singapore, you were already starting your journey. You obviously had good teachers and good role models that you could aspire to be. And of course, the more you practice, and you become better and better at your craft. And was there one point where you learned from someone, or how did you start to improvise? Because reading music and playing, and of course you learn a lot of genres, but what was your beginning in improvising and arranging? And maybe you could just explain the difference. I mean, there's improvising and then there's arranging. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Okay, that's a big one. Let's see. Improvising, I really started, actually for me, it's quite I like this tune, and I'd like to hear it like this, and it's kind of just hearing it differently, and just sort of I guess reimagining it. I suppose if like knowing the melody and then kind of figure out the harmonies, and I guess I kind of figured that out when I was younger, and I've just sort of taken it with me all the time. So it's sort of how I've always been able to improvise. But yeah, what I said about theory, of course, it helps. Just knowing the harmony, the rhythm structure, things like that. And so improvisation was sort of a natural thing for me.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how to describe that. But in terms of the difference between improvising and arranging, improvising is sort of live arranging, almost like it's kind of for me it's an instant sort of like you're doing it on the fly a lot more. Whereas arranging, you can, like when I did my arrangements, I go through I hear a certain way of playing a piece, or a certain way of harmonizing a piece, and usually I'll go through it. It sometimes happens. It just happens in my head a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And also sometimes when I'll explore different ways of realizing a melody, right? And that's you can go back and refine it. That's the difference for me in terms of arranging. Actually, I studied with a teacher who was by the name of Rudy Bozansky. Actually, when I was doing my grade 10 in ERCT, he actually teaches at CAP right now. Oh, yes. And he was actually the first one who kind of taught me to listen to the piano, to listen to the lines of the piano, and actually sort of imagine the lines being played by an orchestra, and sort of what lines are being played by what instrument and things like that. So it kind of breaks down that as well. So it helped me develop how I play in terms of that kind of orchestrally, and that also helped me to think about how to arrange in terms of how to put what instruments where, and what would sing where, and where would the melodies be, and where would be the counter melodies, and the accompaniments, and the bass line, and all that stuff. I think kind of went on a little bit about that.
No, but and it's really interesting. And I think one of the things too, because when I hear you play, and so and that's just fantastic, because you're right. It's improvising, you might sit in with a band and you jam and you're improvising on the spot. But when I hear you performing a piece, I want to say, well, I would love to play your arrangement of that music, because, I just love the way that you put that together. So are you currently working on something where we can go and get an arrangement of your music? Like, what's coming up for you this year?
I actually just joined with musicnotes.com, so you can actually get my arrangements on there. So far, I've only got the version of Hallelujah up there, which you've seen the Hallelujah with Rosemary. That's up there right now that just happened. That's really cool for me. And I'm going to be actually working on a lot of my own rep as well, and of course more music from Roy Rosemary that. I said, well, if you get any requests, you put them in the requests in the comments, and I'll try to get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like the link to Roy's music, just leave us a little comment and just put Roy music, and we'll make sure to get you that link. So just go ahead and throw that in the chat box for us, and we'll make sure to get that for you, because I think that it's you are gifted, obviously, that, we know that. And not all of us have the gift of creating arrangements, but we want to play your arrangements. And so I'm so glad that you're making those available for purchase, because it just enables us to enjoy your music in another way by, performing. And it takes a lot of practice to get to that level of performance that you're doing, but it's very exciting. And I'm really looking forward to my attempt at playing your arrangement of Hallelujah. I'll be working on that one for a long time. And what's coming up travel-wise for you? Like, what's going on? You're in San Diego, and what's coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego for a while now, and I'm actually going to be working. I've got some downtime from touring. The last season was quite heavy, so we're a little off right now. So Rosemary, actually, you saw it last week, but she just had a baby, so we're taking a bit of a we're taking it easy for a little while.
Just a bit,
for a couple of months, and then we should be back later on in the year.
Yeah.
And in terms of for me right now, traveling, not so much until later in the year, but right now I'm mostly home. I'm just actually working on these arrangements, trying to get all this stuff arranged, and actually I've got quite a few coming up. So if you check out my YouTube channel, the new tunes will be. I've got a bunch of new tunes coming up and videos.
Nice.
Prepping to get all that out there, and so there's that stuff, and then I'm putting together my own show as well for cruise ships as well, and which is
so much fun, right?
Yeah, I know we did some before, and I had a blast, and I want to do a couple more. And I put together a show. It's sort of based on film scores and
nice.
the music from the silver screen, and kind of the pianist journey, sort of take you through. It's called Soundtrack, and I'm pretty excited about that. So that'll be pretty fun to do.
Yeah, and I mean that's the awesome thing about being a performer is you get to travel the world. I mean, who doesn't want to go sit on a cruise ship and then go do a show and then go sit by the pool? Like, you're just living the life, And I think sometimes when we're got our little students and they're like, well, I think I'll just go to soccer. And as a piano teacher, like, you need to come and go to piano and practice, because this can be your life. You can be a musician. You can be an arranger, a composer. You can be Roy Tan and travel the world and just have fun. Like, it's just I mean, we're so blessed to have that opportunity to share our music, and it really inspires people. Even when I listen to your music, Roy, sometimes I just put it on because I just need to be uplifted, or it can change your mood. I have certain music I put on that just puts me in a happy mood, and it's a great way to start your day. And I know we've got some people in the chat box here that are saying, Roy, music, please. So when we're done our call, we'll make sure to go in there and answer your comments and get you the tags to all of your music, because it's just going to be fantastic. And I want to wish you all the best with your arrangements, and I'm so glad that you've made those available for purchase so people can go and get your music now. And of course, check out your YouTube channel and your Facebook group and your Facebook page so they can kind of connect with you. Any advice you can give for music students, but also music teachers? Like, what is the one thing that you felt kind of put you on the right path as a student when you were learning? Like, what advice would you say, gee, I'm glad my teacher did what?
Really just sort of whip me into shape.
Okay.
Sometimes I think we're, and I'm guilty of this as well. When I was teaching back, I suppose not giving your students a certain discipline, and I think it's really necessary to have structure when you're learning, and I think I think kids should be able to play what they want is what to play as well. But I think there needs to be a structure. Like I think in terms of when I learned my music, I did all the RCM stuff and all the conservatory things. But I also did a lot of, like I said, improv, and I just played a lot of tunes of my own, and it just sort of that fuels. I suppose that fuels your passion for it, because if you're only playing pieces that you're maybe not so fond of, then it doesn't. So you should always. I think kids should be able to play what they want to play, but I think at the same time, the structure, all the foundational stuff should be there as well. And I think, like, I'm glad my teachers sort of whipped me to shape, because I wasn't particularly the model student.
Yeah.
Younger, so there's my admission right there.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear you say that. My daughter Sherry, who's a professional musician as well, and who music producer in Las Vegas, and one of the things that she says is very similar to what you said, and I was kind of the drill sergeant of, you're practicing every day, you're doing your RCM exams and doing your music theory and practicing an hour to two a day, and then you get to play your fun stuff. And she loves the jazz, but you are right, Roy. You need to have structure. And I think sometimes when we think about athletes, you have a coach and they're working you hard, again. And sometimes as music educators, we tend to, just want our kids to have fun, and fun is good, but it doesn't get you to the real fun, which is being successful and as a musician and capable of doing all the things that you actually want to do, which is improvise and create arrangements. And if you don't have structure and you don't have that, motivation to, it's hard work. It doesn't happen by just playing fun stuff once a week at your lesson. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because obviously you're very grateful for the structure, as well as being able to. I like to have that variety too. We have to have structure, and these are, the conservatory pieces that we're working on. But because we're doing that, it enables us to have independence of hands, independence of fingers, having a deeper understanding for all the harmony. Like when you're arranging, it's amazing to me that you say, well, here's the melodic line. I can create different harmonies and arrange this to, still be true to the melody, but to just create a new way of listening to the music. And that's what makes it, so much fun to play and create. And it's an amazing journey. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so thrilled that you joined me today. I wanted to say thank you so much, because I know you've got a busy schedule, and you're going to be back to doing some arranging. Do you do some original music as well?
I do. I do original music, and I have some coming up. Right. I'm published right now, but I do write every now and then. I don't consider myself a composer per se, but I do write. I'm more of an arranger.
Yes.
yeah, I do have some originals coming up, so you can look out for that as well on my YouTube channel, I suppose, which I will be putting a lot more music up.
Yes.
So that'll be fun, and again, the accompanying sheet music should go up on Music Notes as well. So
right, perfect. Well, we can't wait to see all of that. I want to say big thank you to Roy, who is an international renowned pianist, sensation, arranger, and performer. And I just want to say thank you, and I wish you all the best this year, and look forward to seeing you performing at Carnegie Hall again sometime. And
yes.
And we'll look forward to connecting with all of the little things that we're going to put in the chat box here, so that they can go and get your music, get your links to your YouTube channel. And I'm just very grateful that you joined me today. So thank you, Roy. Have a great day, everybody. And remember what Roy said. He said, whip your students into shape and make sure that you're providing them with all the tools so that they can learn their music theory, learn their conservatory pieces, have variety in their music, and of course, pick some fun stuff that they're passionate about learning. So we'll have a great day. Thanks again, Roy.
You're welcome. Thank you.